It's Icon here again. We going over Arrow episode 9, the second to last episode. Arrow is almost over. This one, well, this is Arrow, and this is the Green Arrow and the Canaries. So, because last we saw Oliver, he died twice, and now we're getting ready to say goodbye. This coming Tuesday, I believe, is the series finale of Arrow, so we get to find out what happens to everybody. But this episode gave us a little peek into what we're going to get in the future. There is a spin-off show for Mia's character, and for Laurel and Dinah. It's called Green Arrow and the Canaries, and this lets us know what the show will entail going forward. So the show starts. It starts with Laurel, and I guess it's Earth 2 Laurel, because she did mention, she mentioned like her Oliver Queen back in the day. So it's it's our Laurel. She's in Star City 2040, and while she's in Star City 2040, there's this black girl who's like at the club dancing. She gets rolled up on. She gets snatched up, and Laurel takes it upon herself to try to save her. Now, when Oliver reset the universe, he changed some things, because everybody's on one Earth now. So he changed some things to the point where he's back. Well, Mia lives in the Queen Mansion, so that was actually kind of cool. She lives in the Queen Mansion. Queen Consolidated is probably still a thing. We saw William. William is running Smoke Tech, so I don't know when Felicity had the time to create Smoke Tech, but but again, we don't know how history changed now because of Crisis, because Mia and William grew up together, because that was Oliver's big thing. He was telling everybody, he was like, make sure my kids don't grow up without each other. That was very important to him. And we saw a picture of Mia and William together, so the two of them did grow up together. So a lot of things changed. Like, a lot of anger wasn't there for most people. Now, regarding other characters, JJ, Diggle's son, last time we saw JJ, he killed Zoe. And he was Deathstroke. He was parading around in the Deathstroke mask trying to blow up Star City. And this whole thing was just sparked over the fact that he was upset because when Diggle and Lila took Connor in, they gave Connor a bunch of extra love and attention, and JJ grew up and he resented Connor for that and resented his parents for that. So for some reason that made him put on the mask and want to go out there and start murdering people. But now in this new timeline, that never happened, and JJ's a good person. Like, he actually, like, he has a job, like him and Mia are together. They're engaged to be married, which is kind of cool because Oliver and Diggle, have been friends throughout the entire series of Arrow. So to see like Oliver's daughter and Diggle's son, together, it's kind of like it's heartwarming, and it seems right. But the problem is Connor, because Diggle still adopted Connor. They still took Connor in, and Connor, he's kind of, I don't want to say a drunk, but in the old timeline, Connor was, he was an upstanding individual, and, he was working for this new Argus that Lila and Diggle created, and he was a soldier, like he did everything right. But in this one, he's like some drunken bum. And then when he shows up to Mia's graduation ceremony, Mia's just like, oh, I hope you're not here to ruin it, like you ruin everything. And then he's just like, I guess I ain't get my invitation in the mail, so it's just like, so JJ and Connor basically swapped places. Like, JJ became the good brother and Connor became like the drunken loser. Zoe's still alive, thank God. And everybody's happy. Like, Mia's basically become Oliver from season 1. Like, she's the billionaire playgirl. Like, she's just running around having parties and everything. Like, she's a celebrity. And she really doesn't do anything. Like, she has no direction. Like, there's nothing going on in her life other than JJ. So, which is kind of weird. But there's no mention of like any other character, no mention of like Lila, no mention of Diggle, no mention of Felicity. But Oliver's picture's up everywhere because Oliver is the one who sacrificed himself. So, but that's the thing though. These future kids don't know that. Like, nobody knows that Oliver. Well, the president made that speech, so I guess like people do know that Oliver sacrificed himself to save the world, but how much do the kids know about it? Because again, for them, that was like 20 years ago. Like, Mia's barely like 3-4 months old in 2020. William's like 13, like 12 or 13. So it's like, how much do they know about that? But none of them have their memories. Like, none of them know what's going on. They're just living their normal lives as usual. So now Laurel ends up going to some random bar, and she rolls up on Dinah. And when I first saw Dinah, I was like, why she still look hot as like why she still look that good? I'm like the years have been kind to Dinah Drake, and because in the old timeline she had like gray hair and she was still hot, but she had like gray hair and wrinkles and everything. But then come to find out, she literally said to Dinah that she said the last thing that she remembers is going to Oliver's funeral, and then after she went to Oliver's funeral, she just magically ended up in the future. And because nobody's heard of Dinah Drake and there were no signs of Dinah Drake in history, Dinah Drake was like lost to history. She was just like, all right, cool. She just shut up. Shut up. She just set up shop in the future, and just proceeded to live life like nothing, like nothing ever happened. Which is very very interesting, because now I'm kind of like, yeah, how'd she get to the future? So obviously somebody snatched her up and brought her there for a reason. Like, she's there for a reason. What the reason is, we don't know. So Laurel's whole thing, and then even with Laurel's whole thing is she comes to the future because I guess in the past, the present past, she finds out that Star City goes under attack, and and it all starts with this black girl dying, whose last name is Bertinelli, and I was just like Helena Bertinelli, and they were just like, apparently that's that's the Huntress's daughter, and I was just like, nah. But they later tell you that she was adopted. So if this means that we'll get a Huntress cameo, like I'll be all for that. And who knows, maybe the black girl will end up having like a more important role, like later on. So, but for some reason, but because she got kidnapped, her kidnapping was supposed to spark this revolution of Star City turning into a bad place, because everybody knows Star City is like one of the greatest cities on earth because Renee's still mayor, and because the old Star City was a cesspool, but this Star City is beautiful and people love it, and it's like they said it's the safest place on the planet, which is funny to hear that. And but the Bellinelli girl, if she dies, that apparently starts like a chain reaction that destroy Star City. So Laurel was there to prevent that. And then we later find out that Mia is the cause of it. Like, something about Mia is the reason why everything turns to shit. So like Laurel, I guess, I mean, there's more to the thing with Laurel that we don't know yet, because I'm pretty sure Laurel just didn't decide just to do all this to be a good Samaritan. Like, somebody either asked her to do it, or there's another hidden agenda there that hasn't been spoken about. So while they're at the party, Laurel ends up, because she said that Cisco created some device that can duplicate John Jones's powers, and he uses the device to bring Mia's memory. Well, she uses the device to bring Mia's memories back. Mia's brought back to life. Well, not back to life. Mia's memories are brought back. She remembers everything. She remembers Crisis. She remembers her dad. She remembers the training, and then she remembers that her fiance is a bad guy. So she's immediately like freaking out. And JJ's like, what's going on? And she's like, get off me. And then like she runs away. Dinah and Laurel talk to her. She's just like, why did you give me my memories back? And then she's like, because you're the Green Arrow, damn it, we need you. And she's like, I don't want to be the Green Arrow. Like, they even showed her the Green Arrow costume. She was like, I ain't wearing that shit. So, but so they, so the whole episode is about them trying to find out about this girl's kidnapping. Because again, like, her death is supposed to spark this whole thing that destroys the world. They go throughout the episode looking for clues. Like, Laurel and Mia basically like, button heads. Dinah's just like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like, she doesn't even know like what she's still trying to figure out why she's even there. And she was just like, I don't even want to be a vigilante, but because you're asking me for my help, she's like, I'm gonna help you save this one girl, and then we'll move on. Because Dinah was supposed to spark the Canary Revolution, and I guess she felt bad because that's not gonna happen now, seeing as how homegirl, like, it seems how she's in the future now, and she never got a chance to actually do that. So, so later on, like, Mia ends up like accusing, because everybody's thinking JJ did it, because everybody's like, in the old timeline, JJ was the bad guy, so why would JJ not be the bad guy now? So everybody think JJ did it. Mia like breaks into his computer. She tries to figure out, like, what's going on with JJ, because she remembers that he used to be bad. JJ busts in. He's like, yo, woman. He was like, I was trying to make plans for our honeymoon. And he's like, I can't trust you. And then he goes off and he's mad. Like, Mia gets mad at Laurel. She's just like, oh, you just made me, spy on my fiance. And then, because she said that she has two sets of memories, which is crazy. Like, she has the old memories and she has the new memories. So it's like, she loves JJ. She has the memories of all the stuff that her and JJ did. She has a lot of love for JJ, but she also remembers, she has the memories of bad JJ as well. So She's like, she's confused, like, but in the end, but she said in the end, she said that the reason why, she wasn't really doing anything with her life was because, she was like afraid to, because she was just like, my dad sacrificed himself to save everybody. He was a hero. And she's like, I can't live up to that. She was like, I didn't want to be a hero. I didn't want to be a loser. So I chose to do nothing. And then Laurel, when Laurel came, because Laurel's like funny. Laurel's funny. She's like the worst with like dealing with like emotion. When Laurel came in the room, she was like, "Dear God, I hope you're not crying." and, but in the end, like, I like Laurel being her mentor. Because Laurel, because like me is like a no nonsense type of person, and Laurel's the same way. So it's like, but I also like Dinah in the mix because, Dinah adds the heart, to that whole group. So, they give so Mia puts on the costume. She puts on the Green Arrow costume. Dinah puts on the costume. Laurel puts on her costume. They go in there. They find out where the girl is. Because come to find out, like like the girl's family ended up. Well, not it wasn't the family, but the boy, like the person who had her kidnapped, used her phone to send out a video that made it seem like she was on the beach, like meditating and having having margaritas. Come to find out that the video was basically her being kidnapped, and they kind of like they fudged the video to make it look like something it wasn't. So the girls were able to uncover that. They found out where she was, and then they go down there to try to stop them. Come to find out that the black girl's ex-boyfriend is the one that rolled up on her, but he was doing it for somebody else. Like, he was working for somebody else. They rescue the girl, and then before the guy kills himself, he's just like, listen, you don't understand, like, she's not gonna let you guys get away with this. And everybody's like, who is she? And then the dude had a tattoo on his wrist, and the tattoo that he had on his wrist, Mia recognized it because it was the same symbol as the hosen that's been passed down throughout the entire Queen family. So whoever was in charge of the kidnapping and everything has a tie-in to the Queen family, and they got to figure this one out now. Now, obviously, right out the gate, every single person on the internet automatically was like, yo, Felicity's the bad guy. And I can see why they would think that, but that's too obvious for Felicity to be the bad guy. So after that, we go back to JJ. JJ's home, and then the same people. So like, well, actually, let me backtrack. So before that, Mia and William end up having a conversation in front of Oliver's statue, because Oliver has a memorial statue that Star City, dedicated to him. So they have the statue, and then while they're sitting there talking, Mia's basically telling everybody how, like, they think William's the Green Arrow, and she's offended because she was like, why does the Green Arrow have to be a dude? But that's a good thing, because if they suspect William of being the Green Arrow, nobody will suspect her of being the Green Arrow. So that's a positive thing. So, but because they think William's the Green Arrow, somebody shot both of them with tranq darts, knocked them out, and then they dragged William away, and they left Mia lying on the floor. So the same people that rolled up on William rolled up on JJ, and somebody took the same device that Laurel had, put it up to JJ's brain, and brought JJ's memories back. So now JJ remembers being the villain. He remembers being the bad guy, and the anger flushed back into his system. My whole thing is, if you're going to do that, you better bring back Connor's memories too, because I don't want to see Connor being a drunken loser the entire show. So somebody better bring his memories back. But the crazy thing about that is, it has to be an inside job. Like, the person who's attacking Star City, the person who has the hosen, obviously has a tie-in to the series of Arrow, because the only people that have their memories back from Crisis are the heroes that saved it. The only person that would know to get a device from Cisco Ramon, the only person that would know to bring back JJ's memories, the only person that would know that JJ even used to be a villain in his old life, is someone who was present during the time when all that happened. And that really narrows it down to like 5 people. Because no one else would know to do that. So that's what's crazy about it. But I'm like, hell, the one thing this episode did not mention, they never brought up baby Sarah, because Crisis fixed that, and Diggle got both his kids. Sarah wasn't in this episode at all. Shoot, for all we know, baby Sarah's the villain, and she the one, because like baby Sarah's probably the villain, and her motivation for being the villain is mom and dad took Connor in, JJ was their favorite, they gave Connor all the love and attention, and I got pushed out into the cold, so now I'm killing everybody. Like, it could be baby Sarah, it could be Felicity. Shoot, Hell, it could be William. Like William could be the bad guy. Like I wouldn't put it past William being the William could be the bad guy. It could be William. It could be Thea. You know, like this is gonna be a good show. Like this is definitely gonna be a good show because we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know who's bad, who's good, and everything in between. Does Diggle have the ring? You know, because they didn't even mention Diggle and Lila. They weren't around. And why is Dinah the only person from the past? Because that's another thing. The person who brought back their memory, because like Laurel brought back their memories in a good way, but this person who brought back their memories in a bad way, whoever this person is that restored JJ's memory, there's a reason why Dinah specifically was dropped into the future to take care of that. And maybe it's Curtis, you know, like Curtis wasn't on the Wave Rider, so Curtis wouldn't have his memories back, but something's up. Something's up, and I'm definitely here for it. So the unofficial pilot for Green Arrow and the Canaries is in the books. Arrow episode 9 is in the books. My mind is blown, and nothing but sadness and tears will kick in this Tuesday when we say goodbye to the Green Arrow once and for all. So that was it, guys. That was my review for episode 9 of Arrow. Last one, you know, they said second to last one, last show coming up. Check out my other videos, Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, Supergirl, Batwoman, Black Lightning, everything in between. I got some wrestling coming up this weekend as well because it's Royal Rumble weekend and we got some NXT TakeOver. So tune in, leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. And until the series finale of Arrow, take care. And as always, I'm out this bitch.